Hey everyone, this is a chapter reading for the book Piazza by Maggie Adams. It starts with a prologue, so that's where I'm going to start. Once upon a time, when the earth was new and magic, both light and dark was in abundance, man and beast inhabited the land in harmony. Through their hard work, the world thrived, and the gods and goddesses were pleased. In reward, dark magic and mischief were banished, and everyone was welcome to live as they want without repercussion, except for one rule: that beast and man should not become as one, for the gods feared that creature would become more powerful than they could control. In that time, a young maiden fell in love with her dragon companion. As it was forbidden, they kept their love a secret, simply asking the gods for a long and happy life together. The gods were shrewd and saw through their ploy, decreeing that they should never be together again. They too were banished to the ends of the earth as an example to those who dared to defy the gods. The maiden and the dragon declared revenge upon those who wished to forbid their love, and began a quest to find the dark magic banished long ago. It took many years, but the pair did find the magic, unleashing it upon the earth in return for their freedom to do as they pleased. The darkness consented, but with one caveat: their union would produce a child, and the evil would be given that child. The pair agreed, and a child was born. But when the darkness came, disguised as a witch, the lovers refused to give up the child, and fled to the gods for help and mercy. The witch, Scatamouch, knowing she was to be banished once again, cursed the earth, the gods, and all its inhabitants. The earth shook and cracked with her anger. Great waves flooded the earth, leaving high bluffs and tiny islands. It divided the earth into many pieces. A great battle ensued between the goodness of the land and the evil invading, leaving death and destruction in its wake. When the gods realized that their gift of magic was being used and abused in such a way, they gathered all magic, both good and bad, into a fiery ball and hurled it far and away into the nexus of the earth, the sky, and the water. When it was all over, very little remained of the once fertile earth, but the gods were merciful to those left behind, and allowed them to live off the land and rebuild. They also realized that love is the heartbeat of goodness, and that it should never be forbidden. So they fashioned man and beast as one to help rebuild the earth. But the great battle had made man wary of the beast, and the beast distrustful of the man, as each believed it was the other's selfishness that caused this destruction. And so the man beast, or shifter, was banished from the lands, sent away as outcasts to live or die in seclusion. And the gods were once again displeased with all the inhabitants of earth, and declared that powerful magic should never be used again until pure goodness can be proven to flourish in the hearts of both men and beast. And so it is today. In the tiny village of Grafton, Illinois, a small community at the conflux of the Mississippi River and the Missouri River, very few humans know of the shifter community that lives within the town, and no one, human nor shifter, knows that it holds the secret to the greatest legend ever told. Chapter 1. Delta Malone mixed the herbs into the flames. She closed her dark brown eyes, chanting the ancient verse to assemble those who have passed through the veil throughout the centuries. Her breathing became labored, her lithe body swaying, her long dark hair lightly whipping around her, as her dream state took over her physical body. Her mind was transported through the veil as her body collapsed onto the hard, cold earth. She now stood within the dimension of death, shadowy figures moaning in sorrow at their plight, others sighing in pleasure of the nirvana perceived within their hearts. All of those that she had known within her life that had passed onto their reward or their penance. She paid no heed to the outstretched hands of those in despair, only intent on searching for the one she sought. Stepping further into the clouds and fog, she made her way toward her tribal elders. A figure emerged from the crowd, large and dark, with the marks of her ancestors tattooed upon his arms and chest. His long white hair flowed across his shoulders. He was a spirit, as if his body, though visible, was also shadowed by magic. Here now was her great-grandfather, her mentor, and the most powerful shaman she had known. She kneeled, head bowed in respect, in front of him. "What do you seek, child? I see your heart is troubled," the shadowy figure asked. "Father, I am conflicted within my heart. Our history with the monsters of blood, the daywalkers of old, tells us to beware, to call upon the ancients to protect us as we battle this evil." The figure nodded. "It is so, child. But with the utmost respect, Father, I have met one, and he is nothing as our ancestors have described. He is honest and true, trying to protect his tribe from the very evil we have battled against. I have seen it with my own eyes. How can I destroy what has saved my life?" "He has tasted your blood?" the shaman recoiled at the thought. "No, he fought an evil sorceress, his own mother, to save me and my friends. I would have died if they had not called upon the Piazza bird to save me." "You speak of legends long dead, daughter. You are mistaken in your thoughts. The Piazza bird is extinct, killed by Quatoga after the great battle." "No, Father, he lives, the last of his kind, unique, just as I am unique." She pulled her shawl away from her shoulders, exposing the birthmark of the dragon. It glowed with an inner light of green. The figure stepped back. "How long, daughter?" "Since the day the sorceress tried to take my soul and my powers. The dragon's tears saved me, but now my mark aches and glows." "You were saved by the tribe when your own mother abandoned you, as evil due to your mark of the beast. So many of our people thought that you were a sign, a mark of the devil that plagued our ancestors coming back, that the Scatamouche witch was reborn in you. I, however, saw the vision of what is to be, and took you in. It is now time for you to fulfill the destiny that was envisioned for you so long ago. Tell me then, Father, of the mark and my destiny. How am I to proceed to fulfill what was seen?" The shadowy figure was silent for several minutes. Delta worried she would never get an answer to her problem, but she dutifully waited in silence, body folded over her knees in complete subjugation to her leader. Finally he spoke. "There is only one reason for your mark to glow, daughter. You are the key to banishing this evil from your world. You must turn these evils onto each other, so that they will each destroy the other, and leave your world forever." Delta was alarmed. "But, Father, I am a simple shaman who happens to interpret dreams. I cannot create such a fight. It is not within me." The shadowy figure closed the gap between them. "You have invoked the ancients to cleanse the evil once before. You will finish it. It is your destiny." His hollowed orbs shone with an intense red light. Delta sensed his eagerness. His elevated aura was almost yellow, and she cringed. Her ancestor had always been kind and patient. His reaction to her news was almost one of impatience and want. This was not what she expected. She was but a pawn in the centuries-old fight. Perhaps he was simply keen for the end of this fight between the shifter and the human world. He knew she was the key. After all, he had envisioned it so long ago. It would mean she would lose her friends, her business, maybe even her life, but it was written, so it must be so. Very well, Father, I will turn the Daywalker against the dragon. My prayers and offerings will be centered on their demise. But how shall I begin? I beg for guidance. He offered her a small smile that made her shudder in fear. Find a man called Marcus Davis. He will lead the way. Delta was transported back immediately and woke with a start. The fire had burned down to embers and her body was stiff, but that was nothing compared to the pain in her heart. How could she destroy those who saved her life? She once again looked to the sky, only to see the dragon shifter Jax, who had saved her life, silhouetted in the moonlight at the top of the bluffs. To Delta, it was a bad omen of things to come. Chapter 2. What are you doing? Delta jumped, startled to hear the voice directly behind her. She hadn't heard Frankie Colson walk in the door of her home. She had been staring at the computer screen, trying to figure out the best possible way to find a man that would help her destroy two of her very best friends. Frankie, you scared me half to death. She quickly tapped a button and the screen went blank. Why the hell are you so jumpy? Frankie wanted to know, cradling baby Henry in her arms. She lifted him up onto her shoulder, patted his back, and Delta smiled in spite of her nerves. The tiny child let out a burp that would make a trucker proud. Since Delta had come to town 3 years ago, Frankie and Tanner Colson had become family to her. The entire Colson clan, all 7 brothers and their families, had helped to rebuild Grafton after a devastating flood had all but destroyed the tiny village nestled between the limestone bluffs and the Mississippi River. They were also one of the few families that knew of the shifter world that inhabited a good portion of their town and the surrounding area. Frankie herself was an owl shifter, but with a mutant gene that repressed her shifting abilities, but left her with an uncanny ability to see through to the true character of a person or animal. She was also a descendant of the Leadership Council, now led by Jonas Blackshire, the only shifter perhaps even more intelligent than Frankie. Here, let me. Delta got up from her seat and took the child from her good friend. In her native tongue, she cooed sweet words of comfort and love. Back to my question. What is it, Delta? Frankie asked again, brushing a wayward red curl from her face. She settled her petite body on the toffee-colored leather sofa and prepared to wait. She knew her friend would get around to discussing what was troubling her. With a heavy sigh, Delta handed back the baby and sat next to her. It's nightmares. The night I almost died replays in my mind. I see many different scenarios on how it ended. She shrugged. I'll get over it. Frankie patted her friend's knee. I know that what you went through was extremely traumatic. Humans, even exceptional ones like you, do not have the internal power to deal with the many life and death struggles of the shifter world, Frankie added. Can you tell me what you see, feel, anything? Everything is the same, but I'm not fully there, like I'm watching from above. Jonas's mother controls all the power, and Jax is bested. I die, but it's not me. I don't feel the pain. I can't tell who it is, but it's not me. Which possibly means that it's someone I'm close to. She shakes her head. Other times it's as if I'm replaying the whole struggle, the entire struggle over and over again. But now Zoe dies, or Jax, or well, every person in the room. Oh, honey, what a horrible trauma for you. No wonder you're not sleeping. Sabine is one terrifying witch, but she's dead. You saw her fly out that window when Jonas and the others came to save you. I know, but it's as if I'm replaying it because something is missing. I don't know. Delta shivered. The worst is the one that shows Sabine raising beasts from the dead to kill or enslave humankind. The beasts are flying above, children screaming in their claws. There is only Jax, trying desperately to save them all. People are dying such horrible deaths, I am paralyzed, and can do nothing but watch as our world is destroyed. That's all, folks, for today. Thank you.